I am a huge fan of games like Sonic, Crazy Taxi, Yakuza, Persona, and Metaphor, which recently came out. I'm actually a really big fan of that game. Brand new IP, just really like hit the RPG genre on the head. Fantastic. And what do all these games have in common? Sega. That's right, they are all owned and operated by Sega. And me, I grew up in a time where Sega was a household name, still is today, but back in the 90s, it was a huge deal. It was fighting against other consoles like Nintendo and PlayStation. The Sega Genesis was one of my first consoles. I played the heck out of it. I played Sonic 1 and 2, and I even had the Sonic & Knuckles cartridge extender. Yeah, pretty freaking dope. You definitely had to have that if you wanted to play Knuckles. Yep, it's a cartridge extender. You had to put a Sonic game in the top and it extended to a very long cartridge. Very cool technology for back in the day. Later on though, I bought a Sega Dreamcast and there I was introduced to Sonic Adventure, Space Channel 5, Soul Calibur, and of course, Crazy Taxi. But unfortunately, the Sega Dreamcast didn't pan out like many of us hoped, as Sega discontinued the Dreamcast in early 2001. I actually still have mine somewhere. Should I display that? I mean, that would be kind of dope. But Sega, after the console wars were over for them, continued to go on to make amazing games. And now, the president of Sega in 2024, Shuji Utsumi, President Shuji Utsumi, everyone, wants to bring back Sega to the forefront of gaming. He wants to compete with PlayStation, Nintendo, and now Xbox to get those, smash console wars going once again. Let's do it! But he wants to do it through streaming.
Oh, yikes.
But before we jump right into it, I am Papa Goron. Welcome to the channel. I am a small dad bod creator. I mean, not small physically, actually quite the opposite. If you like this fun, silly, newsworthy kind of content, then please do me a huge favor. Go down below, like, and subscribe because you're gonna get more of it. I say really dumb jokes all the time and yeah, people like me for some reason. Anyway, it would be the greatest Christmas present ever if you could simply just like and subscribe on this video. And thank you so much. From the BBC News, big beautiful chickens news, we have this article here, Sega considering Netflix-like game subscription service. Oh boy. Let me just ask you all straight away. How many of you have streaming services right now? How many do you have? Please, go put them down below. Me personally, I have Netflix, I have Amazon, I have Apple TV, I have Hulu, I have Paramount Plus, HBO Now, YouTube Premium, and that is not even video game focused streams. PlayStation Network, Xbox One Day Pass, I think that's what it's called. Nintendo Online. And I am sure there are many more out there when you start getting into things like Ubisoft and Blizzard territory. You can get a pass for those games just for them. I say all this to say, are we not fatigued with streaming services at this point?
I'm tired, boss.
Even considering the Sega, it's just so 2020, like 4 years ago. The article reports, Sega is considering launching its own Netflix-like subscription service for video games, a move which would accelerate gaming's transition towards streaming. There are already a number of similar services on the market today, such as Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, which see gamers pay a monthly fee for access for a range of titles rather than owning them outright. There must be, I think I need somebody to come here. There's an echo, I think.
There's an echo in here.
Sega's president Shuji Utsumi told the BBC such subscription products were very interesting and his firm was evaluating some opportunity. We're thinking something and discussing something. we cannot disclose right now. What do you mean you're discussing something right now and you can't disclose it right now?
It's top secret stuff.
This does not sound good, in my opinion, at all. I do love Sega. I'm a big Sega fan. I love their new stuff. I love their old stuff. But forcing folks to go to a specific platform, that is not a good idea. People like a select few streaming services and then just like to stick to that. Just look at Ubisoft and their service and Blizzard at their service. People didn't go over there. Those services end up going to Steam later on if you're on PC. People want to stick with what they already have. Don't divide them up even more than they already are, you know? And it's also incredibly suspect since Sega literally just pulled and delisted Sega Classic titles recently in November. Coincidence?
That's just a coincidence.
I think not. Yeah, Sega's totally making moves and I'm not liking it at all. But they could have some ace up their sleeve that we're not aware of. Maybe it's not just some sort of streaming service. I think that Sega will definitely have a core, dedicated audience that will benefit from this. But will the average gamer choose this over something like Game Pass? And Sophie Smart, production director of UK developer No More Robots, agreed. As someone whose first console was a Sega Mega Drive, and what I'd love more than anything is to see Sega thriving, and this feels like a step in the modern direction, she said. Does it? Does it feel like that? I kind of think it's a step back, to be completely honest with all of you. Like I said, this feels like 2020 all over again, where there's tons of streaming services popping up. Sega, your business strategy needs to be competing with these other big companies, not following in their footsteps by doing another streaming service that they've already done one for. Their success is not your success, Sega. Shuji Itsumi spoke to BBC ahead of the premiere of the film Sonic 3, saying, "I want to make Sega really shiny again," he said. He said Sega had been putting too much focus on domestic success in Japan and needed to reestablish itself on the global stage, which would mean expanding past its base. Sega has been somehow losing confidence, he said. But why? Sega has a great RPG group. Sega has amazing IPs. Sega is really well-known brand. So I was like, hey, now is not the time to be defensive, but more offensive. Okay, but like you're fighting Mike Tyson at his prime, Nintendo, and he is dancing around you while you're punching in the complete opposite direction, dude. A streaming service is not an offensive move. It's a really silly one. Offensive would be something that Nintendo and PlayStation, Xbox don't expect you to do. Something that they're suddenly gonna have to spin some things up to then compete with because it gets you ahead. A good example of this recently is the fact that PlayStation came out with Astrobot with Team Asobi that arguably is better than some of the Mario platformers that we've had in the past. I don't know if that beats Mario Odyssey, I doubt it, but it does a pretty good job at capturing the platformer genre, enough where it won Game of the Year. Or you could create a piece of tech that changes things in a drastic way, something that is exciting and new and fresh. Maybe it doesn't use AI, or maybe it does, and it's really cool, and PlayStation, Sony, and Xbox aren't expecting it. But a streaming service is not exciting one bit. This does not get me excited. Now, if they were like, hey, we're doing a streaming service, it's like Netflix, and it's gonna be for video game shows, and we're producing all these video game shows, and kind of meeting Nintendo a little bit more on that front, because they've been so successful with Sonic, I could see that. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Would you jump on a new Sega channel comeback? A Sega streaming service? Or do you think that this is just kind of dated and not a good move? I want to hear your thoughts down below. My name is Papa Goron. Thank you so much for watching. Merry freaking Christmas. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.